I'm Dr. Sandra Brown. I'm an ophthalmologist in North Carolina, and I have no financial conflicts of interest. I'd like to talk to you today about diagnosing scam pharma, the Facebook photos biopsy. I really just had to start with this slide, however, which is straight off the manufacturer's webpage. Regenerative. You can't spell it, but you can sell it. First of all, what is scam pharma? For those of you who haven't watched it already, I really recommend that you start with Placentas from Strangers Part 1, Dry Eye Patients and Scam Pharma. But as a short recap, real pharma has many important features which are listed and have no check marks. Scam pharma has none of the above. Advertising reports potential or possible benefits. The manufacturer evades or misquotes the Food and Drug Administration. Evidence primarily consists of testimonials from patients and fake medical references. What's a photo album biopsy? It's a medical term which describes when a physician determines how long a condition has been present by reviewing photographs. A couple of frequent diseases in my line of work would be strabismus, which is a misaligned eye, or eye cancer, which shows up as a white pupil. In the good old days, we would actually look at physical photo albums. And if it was a very panicky situation for the parents, I'd say, go home, come straight back with the photo albums. These days, of course, it's cell phone photos. And they're usually loaded on Facebook because that's where mom and grandma post photos and photos and photos. So I'm going to teach you how to identify a scam pharma company from Facebook photos of their ads. These are what you're looking out for. The ads show product features rather than product functions. There are vague claims of general health benefit. There's infomercials in which the disease is mentioned, lifestyle tips in which the disease is not mentioned, but at least they talk about the body part. Ads where it's not really clear what part of you the product fixes. Testimonials, and smiling happy people. Let's take a look at some examples of each. First, how often do you read this on ads for biological eye drops? Natural, biologic, preservative-free. By far, this is the largest font size you'll encounter in the typical ad. If you can substitute a picture of a food, it's a feature ad, not a function ad. So natural, biologic, and preservative-free could equally well describe Smucker's organic peanut butter. And okay, I know sheep placenta is not a food, but you do get my point. Here's a couple of other ads. Once again, the marketing feature is that the product is preservative-free, it's natural, it's biologic, and preservative-free. Now, the manufacturer made a little bit of a mistake with this ad because the ad describes some specific types of proteins, cytokines, chemokines, and growth factors, which are regulated. So this ad is a confession. Different video. Stay tuned. How about random statements of relief? Here's a lady who certainly looks quite miserable, and Regenerize will allow her to find relief, but I'm not sure from what. Tax season? If you change the spelling just a little bit to Regenerize, leaving out the EYES, you would definitely conclude this is giving her relief from tax season. This is actually one of my favorite ads on Facebook. I think it's a little bit older version before they hired the really expensive marketing company. It describes Regenerize Light, which is formulated for mild to moderate patients, and Regenerize Professional Strength, formulated for severe patients. They don't actually describe the product as being for a mild to moderate condition or a severe version of that condition, but actually for the patients. Now, I and my staff can tell you that we do indeed have patients that we consider to be mild to moderate or severe. But the pain that is felt is our pain. So here's my question. If I recommend 4 drops to the severe patients, will they turn off their cell phones when I'm talking to them? Because nothing else will make them do it, including a direct request. Which product is right for me? Depends on whether you are suffering from mild to moderate symptoms, or perhaps you're suffering from severe symptoms. So this is the newer ad style, and now we do have the word symptoms. But of what? If you simply change the picture in the middle of the graphic, the ad still works. But instead of assuming that you're suffering from symptoms related to your eyes, you can conclude that you're suffering from sunburn. How about the next classification? Infomercials about dry eye, but no claim of therapeutic benefit. And you might want to pause the video and read each ad in a little bit more detail so you can confirm for yourself that there's nothing in these ads that suggests that Regenerize is going to actually help you with your dry eye. Here's a couple more. Nothing untruthful about them. It's what's not being said that's important. How about lifestyle tips with no mention of dry eye? Well, I definitely agree you should take screen breaks and eat your veggies. And here are examples of a what body part advertisement. I had to put in the ad on the left because they just flat out tell a lie about pharmaceuticals. When I first saw the ad on the right, I was immediately drawn to the model's eyebrows. She has fabulous eyebrows. I was wondering if I could rub Regenerize ophthalmic solution on my skin and get those fabulous eyebrows. And I'll tell you that the average patient does not connect the words ophthalmic solution to the concept of an eye drop. And testimonials from patients, a famous marketing trick. The key here is that these do not contain any manufacturer claims of benefit, simply patient reports of benefit. And the testimonial in the middle is even more discreet because it says the results are nothing short of a miracle. The results of what? And then we have ads which show random good-looking humans. Too young, too old. The guy on the right might work. He's almost but not quite George Clooney. This ad I really found insulting. These guys do not profile like dry eye sufferers. They're young, they're male, and they're about to enter salt water. They also happen to be facing into a sunset. I actually think this ad is a little bit insulting to patients with severe dry eye. Tasteless at the very least. So did you notice? None of these ads contain statements that Regenerize treats dry eye disease or improves dry eye symptoms. But that's why you bought it, right? And this is deliberate. Take a look at the ad on the left. You can tell it's an older version because I copied it off of a third-party website of some sort. It says, when everything you've tried for your dry eyes didn't work, it's time to try Regenerize. The lawyers got a hold of that, and now it reads, when everything you've tried didn't work, it's time to try Regenerize. So this manufacturer does not even dare to use the words dry eye in its advertising. And we'll talk about why that is in a few slides. They did miss a few on the Facebook page. I found a couple of the newer ads that actually contain the words dry eye, one after the other. And hey, manufacturer, you should definitely get rid of this one. 1 drop a day keeps the dry eyes away. And this one, which is also a confession. What does Big Pharma say about their dry eye therapy? Well, on the front of pretty much every box you might put your hand on in CVS or Walgreens or anywhere else, you're going to see the words dry eye. Dry eye therapy, dry eye relief. Who is Regenerize so afraid of that they do not even dare to put the words dry eye on the front of their box? Instead, they say sterile moisturizing eye drops. The FDA, that's who. So I've been reading the Public Health and Welfare Act. That way you don't have to. If you don't believe me, the references, which you can access yourself online, are below. First of all, Regenerize contains proteins extracted from human placentas, but these are from strangers, not your own placenta. They're natural, biologic, preservative-free, and regulated by the FDA. Yes, they are. They're regulated as biological products, and biological products that are marketed to treat a disease or medical condition are considered drugs, real drugs, drugs, and require a biologics license. And in no way are they over-the-counter drugs because you are not allowed to put placental proteins from strangers into an over-the-counter product. So Regenerize might write this letter to the Food and Drug Administration. Hey guys, our proteins are actually inactive. So we're not exactly lying on our box. We're good, right? The box says what the drop does, not what it treats. And this is not a mistake. Legitimate over-the-counter drops will state dry eye. And if you don't believe me about the inactive proteins, which you have paid a ton of money for, go to Daily Med, check on both Regenerize products. Don't use the hyphen. And here's a helpful hint. What they refer to as D-MAPS is actually their term for the proteins from Stranger's Blend. And you will find it under inactive ingredients. If you need more evidence that this company is trying to scam you, you can simply take a look at how their box evolved. A photo of an original box is on the left. It refers to the fact that these eye drops are sterile because they were processed under certain Food and Drug Administration guidelines. These guidelines are not the guidelines we're worried about. More on this later too. If you take a look at the image of the box on Daily Med, where Regenerize is pretending to be over-the-counter, you can see that it states clearly to relieve dryness of the eye. And the next box panel has indications, and it basically looks like a pretty typical box for an over-the-counter eye drop. But here's the problem. The box they're actually shipping it in doesn't say any of that. We're back to sterile moisturizing eye drops. And hey guys, you're supposed to use the Daily Med box. I have seen an actual recently acquired bottle of Regenerize, and I've seen all sides of the box, and that box in no way resembles the Daily Med box in the central image. Let's review the differences between real pharma, real over-the-counter, and scam pharma/OTC pretenders. First of all, FDA approval. Real pharma, yes. Real OTC, no. And as part of my learning voyage, I discovered that the Food and Drug Administration does not actually approve over-the-counter products because to the FDA, approve has a very significant and lengthy definition. But they do have rules about them. Can the product be legally marketed? Yes, real pharma can be legally marketed for specific diseases, which is known as being marketed on label. Real OTC can be marketed for specific symptoms. Scam pharma cannot be legally marketed for anything, which is why they avoid saying that it treats dry eye. These people have expensive lawyers. This ain't no amateur scam. How about labeling or consumer information? Real pharma has a package insert. Real OTC has bottle and box labeling. And the Food and Drug Administration also controls OTC product packaging. And one specific aspect of that packaging is that it must easily allow the consumer to decide if the product is an appropriate choice to treat their symptoms. That means manufacturers have to specify those symptoms. Dry eye, in this context, is both a disease and a symptom. And shortly before I drove over here to record this video, I was actually reviewing the FDA regulations on what has to go on an OTC box. And they're many, many, many screens long. I might inflict them on you in a talk about the confusing world of OTC medications, but not today. Are the exact ingredients known? Real pharma, yes. Real OTC, yes. Scam pharma, no. Not only that, but they will not tell you if you ask them, because they say, and I quote from a recent patient phone call, it's proprietary. Dispensed by pharmacies, real pharma, yes. Real OTC, no. Wait a minute. I go to a pharmacy to buy my cold medication. That's correct, but it's not being dispensed. You're just buying it there. Scam pharma? Nope. Typically sold direct from the manufacturer. Or you can possibly buy it in your eye care provider's office. Does it require a prescription? Real pharma, yes. Real OTC, no. That's the definition of over-the-counter. Scam pharma is no, although they will pretend that your provider is, quote, prescribing. Or it will be, quote, available only through your eye care provider. Seriously, this is on the Facebook page, and I think this is the most truthful ad there, especially if you label it Regenerative Processing Plant LLC and Key Opinion Leaders. By the way, mydryeyes.org forwards to regenerize.com. So yep, somebody's making money off of it. This is definitely a way to make some money. And because Rebecca did not believe me that I got that image off the Facebook page, I had to add this. Look down there where the red arrow is, and now I hope you believe me, because my photoshopping skills are just not that great. So let's look at the pathologist's report on Regenerize. The photo album biopsy site was Facebook. Do the advertisements discuss product features rather than product functions? Yes. Are there vague claims of general health benefit? Yes. Are there infomercials in which the disease is mentioned? Yes. Are there lifestyle tips in which the body part is mentioned but the disease is not? Yes. What part of me does this fix? No body part is mentioned at all. There are some of those. There are testimonials from patients and smiling, happy people. What is not present are statements that Regenerize treats dry eye or dry eye symptoms. Not present are the words dry eye on the box or bottle. So the diagnosis is scam pharma, type biologic eye drop, subtype placentas. I hope this talk has given you some knowledge that you can use on your own to analyze the marketing campaigns of all sorts of regenerative medicine products, but particularly biological eye drops, so that you can identify features of those marketing campaigns that suggest that the manufacturer is evading Food and Drug Administration regulation and marketing a product which has not been approved by the Food and Drug Administration and is therefore illegal. It has no proven benefit and no defined safety. As an eye care provider, I really encourage you to approach such products with extreme caution.